Welcome to the here and now. Let me begin my first vlog by defining what I am not. I am not important. I am not special. I am not unique or above average. I am not confrontational. I'm not good at putting myself out there. I am not my mind, my body, or my ego most of the time. I am that which is beyond name and form. I am a kidnap, rape, and torture survivor. I am a survivor that fell into heavy, hardcore addiction as a result. I am living in sobriety because I experienced a spiritual awakening, an enlightenment experience. I call it an experience because it certainly didn't last. Wasn't like I was just, woke up and born again as a guru. But the experience was enough for me to break my identification with my past and everything I had gone through. So much so that I lost the fear of becoming sober, of detoxing. So now, I suppose I'm a guru in training. I've had a number of these experiences since the first one that are happening a little more frequently now. And as these continue, I find myself returning again and again to the impulse to share what has happened to me with others like me, to get online and to help lead others out of addiction. And here I am, doing just that. His teachings would be in the back of my mind throughout a lot of the trauma I experienced. When you're in a moment like that where you either face the intense pain you're experiencing or go to some place outside of yourself to escape. That's where I would go. That was my happy place, And so, anyway, these teachings, I would know them on a purely mental level. There would be a lot of times where I would relate to them on a very emotional level. But I now know that I had never really experienced them in the meaningful, fundamental way that they were, experienced the place from which they were written from until I had this experience. I was just putting on my makeup, doing my normal morning routine, just looking in the mirror, And I had one of Eckhart's audiobooks playing. I think it was the newers. And I caught myself in the mirror as I heard the word shift in a sentence. And it repeated in my brain, in my mind. And it was like everything slowed down and the earth shifted under my feet. I went from the busybody, this, that, whatever, to a whole new depth and awareness. And with this wave of new awareness came this realization that up until that moment, the nagging worry, the subtle anxiety, the subtle distaste and dissatisfaction that we're constantly talking to our own selves about, how, oh, you're thinking about your life experiences or your future and your everything, and the constant buzz. It's completely separate from what I actually was. And what happened next was just this, I was filled with compassion and forgiveness, and it was like it filled my whole body and then went beyond it, and I just, slightly bent over, just locked eyes in the mirror, crying, my face turned red, all of it, just, I stood there for I don't know how long before I went and sat down on the bed in my bedroom and just let it wash over me. I felt forgiveness, I felt self-forgiveness, I felt just this overwhelming compassion, and I looked at everything that had happened to me in such a different light, whereas before I felt nothing but agonizing guilt and all of this happened to you and it's your fault, you did all this, and it, I could never move past it. But in that moment I was able to just break all identification with any of that. And the rest of my day, it stayed with me. And I reacted to things way differently. And it surprised me at times because, shit that would normally piss me the fuck off. It's like, oh, I'm still cool as a cucumber, man. It was awesome. Didn't stick around. After a few days, started to get annoyed at shit again. But, that state was never too far away. I could just sit there quietly for a little bit and feel it kind of come back. And I would have, in the next few months, a lot of these moments where I would be in that state and this really inspired thought would just come to me, and I understood, then more than any other time why, Eckhart doesn't really prepare for all this, talks he gives. It just comes from the now, I get that now. Although I did prepare for this video a little bit. But, after having an experience like I've had, I'm just compelled to start sharing what I know worked for me. If it could happen to me, it can certainly happen for you. And not that I'm discouraging methadone or any other of the awesome treatment programs that we have nowadays, because it has helped a lot of people. There's still a great many people who fall through the cracks. We wouldn't be having a heroin epidemic if they weren't, So I'm setting out to accomplish a few things, specifically with this channel. I'll do videos like these, story time videos where I go into past experiences. A lot of it will be about drug experiences. A lot of it will be about, living in sobriety, other things that are of a personal nature. Another sub-channel will be interviews. I want to interview other addicts, prison inmates, people living in sobriety, doctors, other spiritual teachers, you name it. The third sub-channel, which I'm preparing myself for a little bit, is, a lot of the time, recent times, I've both expressed and discussed the state in which I am when I watch the news nowadays. And everyone I talk to seems to have similar experiences, regardless of what side you're on. Uh, I've always been kind of an independent with some progressive tendencies, but nowadays I'm a little bit more detached from identity politics. But I do wish to interject some perspective, some enlightened perspective on today's hot button issues or current events. Um, just to help people tailor and watch their own reactions to stories that they read about or events that they see and can't help but be, pulled around with the tide of ups and downs. So I'm guessing I'm gonna get a lot more trolls on that page and or on that sub channel than my other ones, but we'll see. I'm going to do my best to refrain from picking any sides of any one issue and finding a commonality and the common underlying influences in these issues. Try to find and offer some clarity on them. But anyway, I think I've gone on long enough. Thanks for watching.